The pet system should go live at some point during 2021, but what is known about this brand new system so far? I data mined over a dozen of things to preview what's coming. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Fallout 76 video. In this one, I will do a preview for the upcoming pet system, which has been announced by Bethesda several times during 2020. The last announcement was made to the Escapist magazine around Christmas time, where Jeff Gardiner, project lead for 76, said pets will hopefully come sooner than people expect, which highly suggests they have been working on this new system for a while now. But what have they done so far? Well, a lot, to be honest with you. There are dozens of entries related to the pet system in the game files already, and most of them are months old, even dating to the Wastelanders development days according to the data miner community. Still, there's a lot done already, and that's exactly what I will show you in this preview, what we have right now. If you dislike spoilers, you shouldn't really watch any further. Anyhow, this doesn't mean the following details are set on stone. On the contrary, the system is still being created as we speak, so a lot could still change until the final version hits the official servers. So just keep that in mind. With that being said, let's move to the first discovery. What is this pet system I keep talking about? I've seen a lot of you guys making comments in my news about tamed pets, but this upcoming system is not about taming. Not at all. It's a complete new system where you can own a permanent pet, like a non-humanoid ally. For starters, it seems like Bethesda will release this system just with cats and dogs. At least that's what we have in the game files right now. But that doesn't mean they won't add further pets in the future. I mean, they have to start somewhere, right? So I think cats and dogs are a fair starting point. I just hope they will expand the system from there. We have lots of creatures in game, so including them as potential pets wouldn't hurt anyone. Yes, I'm talking about foxes, squirrels, frogs, opossums, and such neutral creatures. Anyway, only time will tell if pet diversity is part of Bethesda's plans or not. About 7 or 8 months ago, Bethesda shortly released some new emotes by mistake. That's how we first learned the pet system was part of their future plans. It was all over social media, and there were 4 new emotes about pet tricks: sit, speak, roll over, and play dead. Now, these same emotes are still part of the game files right now, so I suspect these pet emotes will eventually go live at some point, unless they decide to drop or change them, of course. All in all, players will need to use such emotes as pet commands to perform other actions, which will be entwined with pet daily challenges and other features, as you will soon find out. Either way, I think it's going to be fun to play around and teach your pets some new tricks. I just hope there will be more than 4, so things don't get old too fast, if you know what I mean. Just like the existing ally system, pets will also follow a similar logic when it comes to spawning and personal items. Right now, the cat spawn item is the cat ball, and for dogs, it will be the dog house. Both items exist in game, and you can often find them at locations with such pets. So it will be an easy job for Bethesda to use such assets. Anyway, I am a bit confused about these spawn items because both pet types need to eat. There are lots of feeding features for both. They also need to sleep, but only the dog has a sleeping house and only the cat has an eating bowl. So it makes me believe players will be able to directly feed their pets and they can just sleep anywhere, like it happens with existing pets already. Both dogs and cats sleep all over the place, not exactly on their beds or carpets. That's my first impression about this, but I could be wrong. A Alright, speaking about feeding pets, bowls and such, Bethesda is planning to add new different recipes just to feed pets. There are currently 6 new recipes in the game files, 3 herbivore recipes and 3 carnivore recipes. This means you will be able to decide your pet's diet, but I'm not entirely sure that will affect or change anything in the long run. So for meat lovers we have meat treats, burger bits and steak sticks. As for the plant-based meals, we have the forage porridge, the veggie victuals and the seed feed. Now, dogs are omnivorous by nature and they can tolerate a plant-based diet just fine. But cats, on the other hand, are carnivores and they cannot adapt to plant-based diets. So it's a bit strange Bethesda is adding so many vegan options, but then again, it's the wasteland, and when famine hits animals, they just eat anything edible they can find in order to survive. So in my view, this choice of pet foods is most likely an adaptation to the wasteland reality. Next, we have a new effect I discovered. It's called well-trained and you can supposedly get it by training your pet, or in other words, by successfully doing a sequence of actions with your pet, which are yet unknown. I couldn't find much about this new effect other than it exists in the game files and it's related to the pet system. After asking around, data miners confirm this is some sort of sleep buff, so I think it will work like the well-rested effect we have right now. For example, major allies can increase the duration of the well-rested effect, so maybe pets will be able to provide something similar if we actively train them. But who knows, the effect seems to be incomplete at the time being, so Bethesda still has to give their final touch and decide what to do with it exactly. Another curious thing I discovered was pet gifts and loyalty. Yep, it doesn't make a lot of sense at first, but if you think about it from a gamer's perspective, it's just another benefit for having and of course for taking care of your pet. So it's probably not a bad idea in the end. From what I could gather, pets will be able to generate gifts just like your scavenger bot can generate junk, scrap or even holiday gifts if you have the Sandbox version, that is. There are a lot of files related to the pet gifts. It's one of the most complex parts to date. There are also entries in the leveled category with tier 1 gifts, which highly suggests they are going to make new containers with random loot inside. The same type of system we have for holiday gifts and for the mole miner pills. What can you get from pet gifts though? Well, that's yet to be developed, but judging how pets cannot do magic, I would say they can only offer you simple things, such as bones or balls for dogs and chicken meat for cats. They love to hunt mice and birds, but we don't have such assets yet, so chickens are probably the most logical option in my view. One last thing, apparently there will be a loyalty system for the pets, or loyalty tiers, bars, I'm not sure what kind of system, but the gift quality your pets can spawn for you will increase with their loyalty levels. This means the more you train your pet, the higher will be their loyalty and the better gifts they will find in return. Sounds like a fine deal to me. I'm really curious to see this all playing together when it comes to gameplay. What about new challenges? Don't you worry, there are dozens of them related to the pet system too, but sadly they are all labeled as do not use, which is basically the cut filter for Bethesda. It means the challenges will most likely be reworked or ditched. It means something is not right with the entries. It's like a warning to other developers. Anyway, there are challenges for different categories and most of them include very simple tasks, such as building a doghouse or completing a daily pet quest. There are also daily challenges, and these are even easier, such as feeding or petting your animal. I don't know why would Bethesda rework these challenges unless they are thinking about reworking the entire pet system, but then again, who knows? What are they planning? Maybe some crucial code part is missing from these challenges, therefore why they got marked as cut. It could be something related to the code and not necessarily related to the action of the challenge itself. Anyway, let's move on. As you probably heard me saying, there will be pet daily missions too. Things are about to get really interesting. So here's what I discovered so far. There are several main quest entries, they are all connected, and the end result seems to be a daily mission divided into two types. You can either do a hunting daily or an escort daily with your pet. And yes, you can venture outside your camp with your pet at least once per day to complete your daily mission. These quests seem to be mostly developed. I'm not an expert here, but there are lots of scripts, sequences, numbers, logs, and so much more, which is basically the coding structure for the mission itself. For example, with the hunting mission, we even have the stages. Basically, the player goes hunting with the pet. The daily is divided in simple stages, like pet runs on set, quest starts, enemies spawn, player kills enemies, and so on. To be honest, the hunting daily is the most complex one, as simple as it sounds, because the escort daily is basically, well, the pet takes you to some corpse and then I guess you can find loot on the corpse or around it. And that's the daily. Super simple. Moreover, this is probably the most advanced entry for the entire pet system, at least from the dozens of files I checked. Everything else is quite incomplete or at a sketchy level, but this one is really long. It has a lot of things, so I'm not sure they will actually change it because it seems to be done. It's complete. So let's see. Now, let's go back to the pet models. Besides the 4 emote commands I presented already, it seems like they will get some reactive actions as well. Don't ask me how will it work, because I'm not sure, but they seem like passive actions, they are not commands. I found these emote response entries, which highly suggests pets will be able to let players know how they feel, depending on what you do, I guess. For example, if you don't feed them, it would make sense for them to become distressed. A hungry pet will naturally display anger or sadness. On the other hand, if you pet them, it would be normal for them to show happiness, right? I know this is just me speculating based on the very little data we have here, but I highly doubt Bethesda will add passive emote response based on nothing, with no variant or condition. But once again, anything is possible and anything could change. This next fact is a bit misleading at first because it could easily take a more complex path. Pets will be able to speak to players, but it's not clear how exactly. There are several entries that suggest they will be able to communicate with you in different occasions, or even to provide some sort of alerts, like when it's feeding time or when they just got a pet gift for you. There are also several initial and trick messages. It's not like they will be very talkative, but they will surely give you feedback. Now, this could either be cat meows or dog sounds, as it could be something more advanced. As you probably remember or can recall, there are a few events where animals can speak to you, like during the daily mission someone to talk to. So maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to directly talk to your pets using the same type of technology. As I said, this feature could end up being two different things. We don't know which one exactly, but I think it will be the most basic one. I mean, unless they are going to make us run around with a syringe, hit our pets, talk to them. I think that's not practical. I don't think that's the way they want to go, but who knows? I mean, it's just my opinion. Anything is possible. It could be one or the other. The possibilities are on the table. Moving on, another thing to expect from pets is their ability to greet you or even follow you around, but only when you are at your camp. As you probably saw already, pets can venture outside your house borders during their daily mission, but that's probably the only exception to the rule. Bethesda has been creating these behavior packages for pets, which include different types of player followings and even a pay attention one. There's another for wave enemies as well, whatever that's supposed to mean. It's probably some sort of enemy alert, hopefully. Either way, it's great to see the level of detail Bethesda is going for with this new system. Talking about detail, there are dozens of pet animations in the game files too. These are basically the code pieces that animate and give life to cats and dogs. Again, most of these entries already apply to the existing pets, so you can preview them yourself by visiting named cats and dogs at any time. That's where I got most of the footage for this video too. By the way, this file only applies to cats, but there is another one just like this for dogs. This asset includes all sorts of passive actions and animations from meows to sitting, laying down, jumping, moving into different directions, and so much more. Definitely, you shouldn't expect a boring static pet based on these, huh? Well, I also discovered this curious file, which is a behavior pack called Pet Sandbox, and inside there's a group of potential actions a pet can do outside your camp. I'm assuming this sandbox pack applies to the daily missions only because there are no indications pets can freely follow you around. Just for that single fact, really. It would be amazing if they could, but don't build your expectations in that regard. I don't think it's going to happen. Anyway, the sandbox file includes actions such as reactions to player, random conversations, friendly fire comments, and even aggro radios rules. This entry also contains reactive behaviors to the 2 daily quest types, so that's why I think it's basically for the daily missions. Like greet the corpse when you find it during the escort pet daily. It really feels like this is the secondary behavior file, which should replace the standard one whenever you head off to do a daily quest with your pet. This is also a rather complete file, there's a lot going on there. Anyway, that's what I believe this file is, but as usual, it could end up being something else. Alright, what about combat pets? Will your pet be able to fight? Hell yeah! I couldn't find much about their ability to fight apart from a pet damage entry, which clearly shows they are able to fight. I mean, they are able to deal damage to enemies, even though this file sets all pet damage to minimal, so yeah, it seems like they will be in battle giving you moral support more than anything else. You shouldn't rely on their damage, they probably will inflict damage with 1 digit, but that's normal. Can you imagine a cat attacking a super mutant or a blood eagle? It's not like the cat claws can penetrate metal armor, just saying. So yeah, pets will be able to deal damage, but it's more like scratching damage than something else. It's symbolic, but it's great. They can fight, they will be there with you, and basically you are their protector, you are their owner, so it's up to you to kill enemies and keep them safe. Lastly, we have something that I'm sure most of you were expecting to see already. The upcoming pet system will naturally bring and enable new bugs. It's how it has always been with every new feature, some worse than others, that's for sure. In fact, while capturing footage for this video, I came across some bugs already. Some cats and dogs were frozen in place, some got stuck during their animations. You know, the usual. I mean, as long as it's only visual bugs, we are okay. Sadly, things normally escalate to game-breaking bugs, which are far more concerning and frustrating. But we will be here when the time comes to discuss that. Alright everyone, these were the 15 facts I managed to gather to preview the upcoming pet system. So far it's looking promising, but it's a bit too early to know what's definitive and what's going to be added still. Bethesda is in the process of developing this new system, and as I mentioned already several times, nothing shown here is set on stone. Change is and will most likely come. This is what we have or had in the game files at the time I published this video, so keep that in mind. Anyway, that's everything I have for you for this one. I hope you were able to learn something new here. And well, if Bethesda doesn't fully rework the pet system, which I highly doubt by the way, you should have a general idea of what's coming regarding pets. Well, thank you for watching, I am Marta Branco. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to let YouTube know you enjoyed my content, and if you would like to support me even further, you can do it right below the video. Now it's time to wrap things up. I will see you all very soon in the next one. Until then, take care. Adeus. Bye bye.